Sherry, have you ever worked with a brand that doesn't offer support like promotions or sales ideas?
I have, and it's so annoying.
Right, but that's not the case with Northwest Naturals.
Along with the support I've experienced personally from Northwest Naturals over the past 20 years, Carly and I keep hearing over and over about the outstanding retailer support they offer.
Yes, it is totally true. From in-store promotion to hands-on business building, they've got indies' backs.
Because when our businesses thrive, so do the pets we serve.
And that's why Northwest Naturals puts retailers first.
Find out more at nw-naturals.net.
And right now, Northwest Naturals is offering an extra 5% on Gap ISOs for current clients, plus an extra 5% on any new ISO for new clients.
Just use promo code PetShopGirls.
Pet Shop Girls, the voice of the indie, the heart of the trade. Pet Shop Girls, unleash your power, let's make some waves.
Hey everybody, I'm Sherry.
And I'm Carly.
Welcome back to the Pet Shop Girls podcast. We've got a special guest today. Carly, you met him at Super Zoo, right?
I did. I first learned of Mr. Payne through Dr. Connor Brady because he was on Clayton's show as well. And then when we were at the Becker Habib Crazy Cat Lady party, Clayton and I started talking. And so we are thrilled to welcome Clayton Payne because he, as I said, is the host of the Pet Business Disruptors podcast. And with over 30 years in the pet industry, Clayton is known for his bold, authentic take on what it takes to thrive and for challenging all of us to think bigger. So let's get right into this. Clayton, you have 19 years in distribution, which is no small feat. But what first drew you to that side of the industry?
So I grew up in the pet store. So my parents had a pet shop growing up. And when I first left school, I went and worked for a dog food company. And I just liked the strategy behind distribution, that it was a bit more, I could think bigger. I could grow the business bigger. I mean, we got to bear in mind that when I first started distributing, this was like 1997.
Yeah.
So it was a very different world back then. Retail wasn't as corporate dominated, at least in the UK, as what it is now. And building a chain of retailers and that sort of stuff, that really didn't appeal to me like distribution did, because I could bring products to market and get them into a number of shops and that sort of stuff. And also, my parents had owned a pet shop in the UK, but then they'd also owned a pet shop in Belgium. And so I was sort of au fait with multiple markets from a young age.
Yeah.
And I could see things in different markets that were working that wasn't available in the UK, and it just seemed like a more natural fit to try and bend the UK pet market to my will more.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound too unmodest.
Well, okay, so what would you say with your experience and what you saw as a kid, and then how you evolved in the pet industry? What would you say is something about distribution that most people in the industry completely misunderstand?
I think this is true whether it's retail or distribution or brands or whatever, that actually, like, no matter what side of the industry you're in, you have to continuously be putting your head in the mind of the consumer. And so while as a retailer you might understand what your customers want, like as a distributor, you have to understand what makes a retailer shop tick. And that can be, am I after innovative products? And if I am, how do I get access to them? And what level of, like, what do I need to make an order up? So look, part of my thing the way I built my wholesale business was around selling people products which they needed every week, highly competitively. So I would source hard, I would source cheap on stuff which were very, very key product lines. So my whole business was built mainly around wild bird food, small animal foods, which pet stores were selling weekly at that point in time. But then I would then backfill with innovation. So I was one of the first people to bring in the new ranges of natural dog treats, things like chicken feet, rabbit's ears, etc. back in the 90s, when that sort of stuff wasn't even seen before, but it was occurring in Europe before it was occurring here, and I was working with different factories. So, but then saying, well, if I just did the innovative stuff on their own, like it would have been very hard for pet stores to take that leap of faith,
Right.
because they would have had to take a large leap of faith.
Yeah.
And it's all about de-risking things. So as a distributor, you're always looking to de-risk problems for people. So if I came to you, Carly, in your retail store and said, right, I've got this range of new great supplements. They're fantastic. No one's ever seen them before. They're going to work great. And you say, oh, fantastic. How much do I have to buy? And I say, look, $500 worth. They're like, $500 worth? That is a lot of stuff that I've never seen before. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if I was to say to you, look, I'm a natural dog treat wholesaler. You sell natural treats every week. I'm going to do you a really good price on them. But also, look at this other really interesting stuff I do. You can then make your order up and pick and choose your bits and pieces and say, I can take small risks on this stuff with my consumers. So I think it's just understanding like how the consumer's mind works. And from distribution, you're working how the retailer's mind works. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of distributors don't think about that enough, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been talking like from the retailer's point of view and from the distributor's point of view. So for retailers, what should they be looking for when evaluating which distributor to work with? So
look, we live in a very connected world now. And I think like retailers are under pressure all the time from Amazon, from like the big box retail, from Chewy's, people like that. So whoever they work with, when they work with distributors, what they want to be doing is working with people who are giving them products which, number one, they can be very competitive on, but also giving them stuff which they can bring to market and work themselves. And then those products actually deliver a great return on investment. Mm-hmm. I think like retailers should be leaders, not followers. And I think that this has always been a big problem for a lot of retailers, is that a customer comes in and goes, I saw this dental product somewhere. Can you get that in for me?
Right.
Rather than saying, let's have a look at it. Let's see what I can do. I'm going to tell you why this is better and why this is more effective. But then working with that brand so that brand is actually invested in that store, because that store is actually giving them real world distribution.
Mm-hmm. That is such a good tip. Mm-hmm. That's a very good tip.
Yeah.
I try my best, man.
You know what though? Like I think about, I do have customers walk in saying, ooh, I bought this product on Amazon. Can you get it? And then I'm like, well, let's take a look at what this product is. And we go through everything. We go through the ingredients, or we go through whatever it is. And I'm like, well, so here's why I don't carry it, but this is why I carry this product, which is, it's going to do the same thing that you're looking for, but it's doing it in a clean way versus all the filler.
Or even if they show me a product that looks clean, and I can't get it through distribution, I'll recommend something similar, and usually they go for it. So you don't have to bring in every single thing everybody asks for.
No.
And you don't have to win every time. Not every customer who's going to come to you and want something, because look, the reality is they're normally buying it off Amazon. Why are they coming into you today? Is it out of stock?
Yeah.
Have they forgot to order it? Do they need it quicker?
Yeah.
You can go down all kinds of crazy rabbit holes with this sort of stuff, but the important thing is that you actually have a range of products as a retailer that you can stand behind. That 90% of problems that are out there you can solve.
Yes.
And so the product they might bring in may be better than what you've got, but then it's usually more expensive. And you say, the reason I do this and that is because I believe this is the right price point, and this actually solves the problem. As long as you can stand behind your products, you don't necessarily have to have the best of the best of the best of the best. Mm-hmm. And you don't necessarily, you just need to have something you can stand behind that, it's like if I went into a hardware store and I looked for glue. Now, they could be the best super glue on the market I could have bought off Amazon, which will stick something to a wall for the next 2,000 years. But I don't need that. I only need the house to stand for the next 150. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But you can get obsessed with the minutia. Just make sure that you can stand with stuff. You're working with brands that you believe in, that believe in you, that understand the value of your distribution, and just and look, you're not going to win every time.
Yeah.
Not every customer. You're going to get grocery stores customers in who are going to want some awful product, and you don't sell it, and you don't sell anything like it. And you know what? That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be authentic as a retailer. You have to actually say, look, this is what I am. This is where my authority is, and I will not bow to going crazy on price or like crazy low quality, because you know what? If you want that, Target's down the road, Walmart's down the road. See you later.
I love that. Be authentic to your brand
and beliefs. I think, like,
Yes.
I know, like, when you said, Clayton, that you don't have to have the best of the best of the best. Well, in my store, I'm going to have to disagree with you, but you know, Sherry, I just saw a stat that blew my mind, and it's about poop bags. Can you believe 500 million poop bags per year end up in the landfill worldwide?
That's crazy, Carly. But that's why I love Greenline poop bags. They're the only poop bags that have been tested and proven to break down even in landfills, not on your shelf.
Right? I hate when poop bags expire. Like, what? Greenline delivers premium pet products without the premium price tag, because toilet paper for tails should break down, not break the bank.
And get this, they have poop bag holders that are handmade from upcycled old festival banners that are one-of-a-kind pieces of art. You'll love them as soon as you see them. Talk about zero waste and real creativity.
Ugh, and I love that. They're functional, beautiful, and sustainable. And every purchase gives back. Greenline is a member of 1% for the Planet and donates 1% of every sale to real grassroots nonprofits protecting our planet.
So every roll you sell or every pouch you stock, you're giving Mother Earth a little hug. Greenline Pet Supply, eco-savvy products for pets and their planet-loving parents.
Learn more about this amazing woman-owned U.S. company making the greenest poop bag on the planet by visiting greenlinepetsupply.com.
And don't forget to mention promo code PetShopGirls for 10% off your first order.
But there is a reason why we've chosen the brands that we have chosen to work with and to represent and to stand behind, because I can stand behind all of our brands 110%. If I can't, they won't be in my store, right? So, but okay, so that kind of leads me to think about, there are some amazing brands out there, some who self-distribute, and that's awesome. That's what they choose to do. Others who are amazing brands who are looking for distribution, but for whatever reason, they can't get in. Is there certain criteria that they should be looking for in order to get their products into distribution? Or kind of like, what are those steps that you can suggest for those smaller brands who are trying to grow and get into distribution but just can't yet? Like, I always tell them, go look at FAIR, which is an option for smaller brands who maybe can't mass produce to the distribution level. But what would you say? Like, I'm not a distributor guy, you are. So what do you say?
So the most common issue I find with brands who want into distribution but can't get in is that it's to do with pricing models. Like, if I produce, so the old formula, and this can vary, but because a lot of distributors have become more greedy over time. But the old formula was, if it costs you $1 to make something, the retail price has to be a minimum of $4. Now, a lot of brands will start off like below that level, and it makes distribution insanely hard, because then when they go to the distributor and they say, look, this is my product, this is my price, this is where the retail is currently sitting. I sell some stuff on Amazon, I sell some stuff on here and here and here. And that might work for you. Let's say a 1-to-3 model or a 1-to-2 model might work for you. If you're selling in the local fair, or you're selling at, Westminster, show, or selling on Amazon or something like that. But when you start getting distribution involved, you need a larger margin, because you need to make money, the distributor needs to make money, the retailer needs to make money, and they all need to make significant margins. I think where this is even getting worse is that distributors, because the world is more connected, you have got things like FAIR, you have got other things going on in the mix, they found that they're needing more margin. not less. So I think
You've got some hangry hounds over there, Clayton.
oh no, she's an angry little baby, she is. Yeah, so do you want me to just carry on?
Carry on.
Yeah. All right, okay.
I'm enjoying your accent.
Well, at least there's one bonus anyway.
Wait till he has a couple wobbly pops under his belt. Then you can't understand it anymore, Sherry.
Oh my gosh. What's a wobbly pop?
What?
Wobbly pop.
A wobbly, like a beer, a drink.
Oh,
okay.
Wait,
That could be a Canadian thing.
We got 3 different countries in this room right now.
Yeah.
This is actually pretty cool. So okay.
Yeah, so like margins, distributors are needing more margins. So even the 1 to 4 model can be looked at and say maybe it's a 1 to 5 model. So can your product stress test that level of margin? That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't stress test that level of margin, you're not going to get into distribution. Because if you're making stuff for $1, and like I have people come to me and say, I'd love to distribute and blah, blah, blah. And then you look at their pricing and you're like, okay, this would need to retail for $100 at the price you're telling me this is.
Yep.
And they're like, oh yeah, but in England I sell it for 50 quid. And you're like, fine. But the problem is, by the time I put it into a distributor, by the time it's gone into a retailer, everyone's made a significant margin. It's $100 product.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $120 or $130 product. It doesn't make sense in the market. You either need to go back and look at your sourcing or accept that it's a product that's not going to get scale. Or it's not going to get scale through traditional channels because it just won't physically make it. And look, it's a hard reality. And look, there are things, it's like, so another way of looking at it might be that you say, well, at the moment it costs me $1, or let's say it costs me $2, but if I can get my sales to X quantity, maybe it comes down to $1. And then I say to them, look, you can either eat the money in the short term to try and get up to that level and say, right, okay, it's going to be a $4 product, but I know with scale I can get it down to $1, so I'm going to sit it there, and then when I talk to a distributor, I'm just going to eat a little bit of money just to get it to the MOQs I need to get it to make it to that level. So again, it's that thing where people come into the market and they're saying, well, today, because I'm buying the labels from the guy down the road and I'm buying them 10 at a time, that's costing me £1 a label. And by the time I put it together, it's, and like the price just goes off the scale. There is scale advantages, and maybe you say, well, in this particular dental blend, I'm not going to use this type of seaweed. I'm going to use this type of seaweed. And it's more or less the same, but it's going to save me 20% on my thing to try and get your sourcing down. But there's things we can do to try and work these things out. But there has to be a stress test for this. Mm-hmm. And then once you have that stress test, then you can go at distribution. But then you have to make sure you got a product that sells.
Right.
Because again, if you've got that $130 product, which is like not going to move, like the distributors aren't going to take it on. So it's also got to work. But then on top of that, there's marketing budgets. The distributor, the problem with a lot of traditional distributors is they aren't prepared to do the legwork for you. You still have to do that legwork. You still have to create your brand. You don't just give them your brand and say,
there you go.
I've given you 30% margin. You should be out there flying my flag. No, that's just for the benefit of being able to be sold in a way that gets you into stores on a regular basis in a more sensible manner.
That's a really good point though, Clayton, because there are tons of brands out there that I'm like, I've never even heard of them, and they're carried by distributors that I use, and I'm like, that's always my thought. Why have I not heard of you? And I think that probably that is an expectation that I'm in a distributor, and now the distributor will toot my horn and tell all of the peeps about me, but that's not their job.
I mean, some distributors do an okay job of it, but they have so many brands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how can they push all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you take me as an example, and like I'm an evil distributor in like my past life, and so the reality is that I might have, let's say, 1,000 SKUs or like 2,000 SKUs, something in that region. Let's say as a smaller distributor, I can't promote all of them all at once.
No.
So what am I going to promote? I'm going to promote ones I make the most out of, the ones I believe in the most, and the ones that are exclusive to me,
right,
or that carry my own branding. I'm not going to, if you come to me and you're, I don't know, let's say, just pick a name out of the air and say, I want to sell my product through your distribution business. If the margins make sense and I can see that there is a path to selling it, and people, and I've got customers who will buy it without too much work from myself, well, yeah, I might take it on. But am I going to do more work than that? No.
Right.
So
why would I?
Along this vein, let's keep talking about brands. What's the biggest mistake you've seen when brands try to pitch themselves to distributors? Besides the margin thing, I guess.
Yeah, I think there's a number of things, right? Bad messaging is always really common. They can't really tell you why something would sell, or they have no established market, no pipeline for it. I hate to say it, but if you've got no pipeline for your product, I ain't creating it. I ain't creating it as a distributor. Why would I create a pipeline for your product? I'll create a pipeline for my products, not for your products. I'm just selling those on.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll come to me, and it can be a great product, but I've got, like I said, a couple of thousand SKUs to deal with. Like, if I take on your product and you've got no pipeline and you're doing no marketing and you're not creating anything to sell that product through, it's going to go in, I'll pay for you for your stock, and it will sit on my shelf and go dusty.
Yeah.
And then in 2 years' time, I'm going to throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to sell it cheap to somebody.
Do you ask a brand for their current sales?
I don't ask them for their current sales. I never, and look, I think I was probably more unusual because I was a bit more forward thinking in the sector, but you kind of have to believe in the product. But then you also have to say, like, what are you doing? Like, why would I stock this product? Like, who are you talking to? What stores do you know that I serve that you already have relationships with, or have like people who want to stock your products? And then I will go back and I will talk to them customers, because like I had a great relationship with my customers. So brand A would come to me and say, oh yeah, this guy wants to stock us in this way. And if I phoned them up and they went, do you want to stock this product? I was thinking about stocking. They're like, not really. I ain't stocking it. So you better be telling me the truth as well, you know?
Right.
You know, because again, like as a distributor, you get pitched a lot of products because you are so important to a brand's overall sort of ecosystem. So you have to have a good reason, like, to actually take those products on, because otherwise, like I say, look, I'm tying cash up in your products, and I need to get returns. I'm not here. I didn't run a distributor because, you know, for any other reason to make money. I mean, like, I love the industry, blah blah blah. But that's, you know, if I'm taking on a brand, it's because I want to buy it, I want to sell it, I want to make money.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, it's got to be transactional.
Was this past Super Zoo, was that your first Super Zoo? No, you've been
I've
before.
done a few.
Okay. So when you go in there, you're going in with definitely different eyes than what Sherry and I would walk in, right? We're walking in as a buyer. You were a booth, like you had a booth there. You also walk in with your distributor glasses on. When you looked around, did you see any products or categories that you think will be trending over the next like 12 to 18 months? Like, what stood out to you at this year's show?
So this isn't so much at the show, but I know what is trending.
Okay.
And what is trending hard is cat.
Mm-hmm.
So premiumized cat is trending, and that's to do with the demographic shifts and the shifts in cat ownership and the cultural shift in how people keep cats.
Gen Z.
And this is all being Gen Zs.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're treating them like dogs, they're keeping them indoors, and they're becoming part of the family. And look, I speak to a lot of people who are involved in formulations, R&D, and they're all saying the day of the dog is over at the moment. It's all about cat. There is no money going into dog at the moment. Everybody is pumping hard into cat.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that's going to continue because it's so underserved, the market.
And it has been for a long time. Like, I've kind of said that since my store opened, that, and again, I'll go back to, like, we're bound and determined to carry the best of the best. I want to ensure that everything that I bring into my store will positively impact the animal's life. So I'm not about buying the cheap, crappy stuff, but finding quality cat anything is so challenging. Like, we have good cat treats, we have good cat food, but we do not, accessories and toys, extremely difficult to find in, when they're quality items. And even though we have a good selection of food and treats, it is dwarfed by the amount or selection of quality dog products that we can find. So this is something actually that Sherry and I have talked about on a couple episodes now. Just that the big movement in 2025 is it's the year of the cat. Birthday parties, training, leashes and harnesses to take them out. And like they are, like you said, being treated more like we've treated our dogs.
And one thing that we will see more of, and I don't know if you saw on my stands, I had like Carnley's range of cat supplements on my stand while I was there. And it's about realizing that dog and cat isn't a thing. Like dog and cat supplements are not a thing.
Right.
Cats have very different like ways of processing food to dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have, if you give a dog and cat supplement to a cat, it's going to, most of the time it's going to be too high in ash. It's not going to be something you can give regularly. It's not going to be palatable. And again, there's going to be a lot more products that are going to be very specifically cat, highly palatable, made for obligate carnivores. So again, like, you know, it's about species specific. And I feel like there's just been this weird cat tax. And do you know what? There's a lot of people in industry who are so-called higher ups who I've spoken to, and they're still stuck in the past of little dainty cat tubs and this, that, and the other. This isn't the future. The future is a much more Gen Z approach to the cat market, where they're looking for value, they're looking for quality, they're looking for species specific, they're looking for authority in the products.
Yep.
That you can say to them, let's say, like, you've got a cat calming product. Why is this cat specific? Because it's low in ash, because it's highly palatable. We're using very tasty products in this to get them to eat it, because if you just stick a dog calming product on your cat's food, it won't eat it.
Right.
Do you know, there's, you know, like I spoke to countless people who said, I gave my dog my cat a cat joint treat and it doesn't like it. Yeah, because it's not really a specific, it's like a dog and cat joint thing. It's like this sort of mentality where it's like, well, just whack a cat on the product as well, and then like maybe someone else will buy it. The cat consumer doesn't like that. And it also doesn't work for the cat either, because the products need to be formulated very, very differently.
Yeah. It's, you know, I remember I made a TikTok a long time ago and I was talking about the differences of cats and dogs. And I said that cats are not just little dogs, right? Like and that's, you know, the crazy cat ladies are going to be thrilled with this, because they have been, you know, beating this path for the past 15 or more years to have those good, healthy cat-specific products. There's lots of stores who actually don't do cat, because dog and cat are completely different species. Everybody just thinks, oh, it's a dog and a cat, but they're not the same. They're not the same creature.
Hey, Prep Pros, if you've got customers looking for something truly different, you need to check out New Zealand Natural Pet Food Company.
Sweet as, mate. Seriously, this isn't just another freeze-dried brand. These are complete and balanced novel proteins that actually solve problems. We're talking wild venison, wild goat, and wild brushtail.
And before anyone asks, yes, brushtail is a real thing. It's a marsupial, kind of like a possum, totally unique, super low allergen, and packed with omegas that pets love.
And here's the really cool part. Brushtail is actually invasive in New Zealand. So by feeding it, you're helping the environment. Conservation that tastes good, that's a win-win.
Everything's made right in New Zealand in a human-grade USDA facility. Nothing's outsourced, no synthetics, no fillers. Just clean, whole food ingredients you can actually pronounce.
And the founders, Amber and Jacqueline, built the company around pure, simple nutrition that pets thrive on, and it shows. Every bag is gorgeous. The ingredients are incredible, and the results speak for themselves.
If you want to bring in a premium line that's low maintenance, go to nznaturalpetfood.com.
And don't forget, use promo code PetShopGirls to get 10% off any new ISO order.
So go on, give it a look.
Good on ya, mate.
Hey, that may be your best one yet.
I've been practicing for the pets, of course.
Where does the real power sit? Is it with the retailer, the brand, or the distributor? I guess I'll ask that first, and then I have a follow-up question.
I take it we're not going to like this answer as retailers.
Realistically, look, as a distributor, I would have always said it lies with everyone other than me. Was like what I used to say, because I used to get it in the ear from the retailers, I get it in the ear from the brands. I think the truth is that the power is always with the consumer. So, and I think from the distributor's point of view, the power is in the distributor's hand with the smaller brands, but with the bigger brands, they're at their behest, because there's certain things which, if they pulled on you, it puts you in trouble. So
ultimately, it's who has the most money, right?
Who is more important to whose business, I think is always the thing. It's like, if I'm a small retailer and I need that distributor and I'd struggle to find somebody who did what I did, like the distributors in power. I think but if I'm a really big retailer and I can use whoever I want, then the power's in their hands and I'm going to want your work. So
also, I mean, I know of a distributor that if they lost a certain brand, they would suffer greatly. And I don't even know if they'd survive. No,
100%. And that's why I said is that, like, from the brand's perspective, from our perspective, like distributing perspective with brands, the smaller brands need us badly. But the big brands, they can pull the rug from under us really easily and cause real danger to our business, because suddenly, if let's say let's say you're one of your big dog food companies goes, yeah, we're not serving, and this has actually happened to me before. Well, it's one of the big dog food companies. I was their third biggest customer, and they decided overnight they were going to get rid of all distributors. I was their second biggest distributor, their third biggest customer, and they decided they were going to close all distributors' accounts other than one, and they literally pulled. And I just went and started, like, I got a competitive product and I just told everyone to buy that and lost a few customers, but I also messed their business up as well. So, and they actually, ended up having to get taken over a few years later because they nearly went bankrupt because it was a bad move. So, but again, it's sort of like, the truth is that a good ecosystem works for everyone, and that, like, nobody should be pulling the rug from anyone,
right?
But people do at points because they see shiny things and they go, oh, this shiny thing over here looks much, much nicer. But, that's also the reality. And that's why I think as a distributor, you should always try and be as good as you can to your customers. And you shouldn't try and, even if you are powerful over them, you should never exert that power in the same way that if you're a brand and you're working well with a distribution, exert power, because it's not a nice dynamic to have, full stop. Because things should be friendly. Things should be good. Everyone should look after each other.
Yeah.
And
not
everything you do is going to be profitable, but nine times out of 10 it's going to be. But, like, you also have to make allowances.
Thank you. Allowances. So from a retailer's perspective, when is it okay to push back on a distributor, and what's the best way to negotiate with a distributor? So
I can only talk from my perspective, right? So if someone was negotiating with me, never be aggressive. Never be aggressive, because I don't care enough. I've got a lot of customers. I don't care enough for you to be aggressive with me.
Oh my God, that's the motto of my life.
but the reality is there's give and take with all negotiations. So if let's say, I don't know what the problem is. Let's say you want a better price on something, and you're saying, look, this product here is very important to me. I want to sell a lot of it. If I really give you big orders on this one product, like consolidate some big orders on this product with you, will you do me a better price if I buy a pallet at a time, or if I, do this or do that? Like, that's a good negotiating tactic. And look, margins, you can't see what the distributor's margin are. But I think most distributors like to say, yeah, okay, you're giving me something, here's something back. I think what isn't nice is that, like, you just keep, like, I used to have some customers who'd be like, oh, I can buy that 5 pence cheaper from him, and this can you do that 5 pence cheaper, and this I can buy that 10 pence cheaper from him, and I can buy this, and you go through your whole catalog. It'd be somebody who buys like one a month of, and you're like, what are we doing? This is doing my brain in. I'd rather you just didn't deal with me at this point, because it's doing my head in. Do you know? So it's like, just be sensible with it. if there's something which actually will move the needle for your business, so whether it be changing your delivery day or, like a better price on something or, but never ultimatum, never ultimatum. But again, I think this is true with most negotiating tactics, is that most people are sensible if you're sensible to them.
Yeah.
And you can sort of put together a use case for them and say, look, this particular product you do, I love it. I'm going to do a big offer on it. I want to hand it out around my community. I'm going to take it to dog shows. I'm going to do this with it. I'm going to really promote it. Is there anything you can do? Or maybe you can go to the brand and see if the brand will do something to help me promote it. So it's it works for everyone. That's
right. Like I've heard some brands, they'll pitch in a percentage off if the distributor pitches in a percentage off, and then the retailer gets the benefit of both of those.
Yeah.
100%. Look, if I was a brand, let's say I'm selling, a product from the UK in the US, and I'm the distributor, and I've got a UK brand behind me, and you come to me and say, look, I really love this brand. I want to take it to every single cat show in Texas and every single cat show in Canada. Is there anything you can do to kind of sweeten the pot? Because I don't need to take this, but I really like the product and I'd love to get it out there. And, is there, and I happily go back and speak to the manufacturer and say, look, these guys really want to put it out there. This is free marketing for us. What can we do to sweeten the pot?
Mm-hmm.
And they might give away some, I might give away some. But there's always room for negotiations with that sort of stuff. But what there isn't is you coming to me and saying to me, I want this cheaper. And okay, why do you want it cheaper? Well, because I want to sell it cheaper. I think you're making too much on it. And I've had some crazy things. It's raw materials go up and the price goes up. Well, I don't want to pay that. I want to pay the old price. And it's I'd like to pay 1980s house prices, but I can't do that,
So if there was one kind of tip that you could give to all three sides, retailers, brands, and distributors, to kind of curate that healthy, good relationship in the ecosystem that we're talking about, if there was one tip we could give to everybody, what would that be?
We still live in a world where communication and being friends with each other is important, right? And actually, don't treat these things as hostile. Treat them as friends, and look at these people you're working with as a part of your extended business family, and treat them as people you want to look after rather than hostile people you need to fight a good deal out of. Because you know what? I would much rather give a good deal to somebody who I like than somebody who is hostile to me. So, and
kindness.
If you're a brand,
thank you. Yes.
That's what you're saying in a nutshell, right, Clayton? Kindness. Just be kind.
Kind of. Okay. Kind of. Be kindish. I think there's a difference between being kind and you don't want to be a doormat,
right?
You still have to have spine. And you still have to say this isn't working for me, or I deserve. I'm going to be putting a lot of work in for you guys. Come on, let's make this a joint venture a little bit, and we can all share in it. I think there has to be a little bit of that, and because look, there's some brands that I've loved their products, and I've gone and I've spoken to the brands and I've hated them as people.
Yep.
And how many times, I don't know if you've seen that, where you've gone, I like this product, I love this product.
I've done it.
Yeah, me too.
Where I inquired about a product, and then the owner came in my store, and I was like, oh, no, we're not going to do this. Yeah.
And you're like, hell no, I don't care about this product anymore. It puts you off.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is why personality and being friendly and working together and actually caring to make things work throughout the chain is so important.
Yeah.
Because you know what? That stuff does matter. We are still social creatures. I know we all talk about, we all want to make money. We all want to make, we all want to do well. We all want to be successful, and we all want to drive around in, Aston Martin cars and all the rest of it. But the reality is that we get there by working as a community and people who look after each other, within this ecosystem and this space. So, and brands need to realize that there is no one, I'll be honest, as a distributor, I did it for decades, and I've had customers who I always had the opinion, treat everyone the same. I didn't care if you were my smallest customer or my biggest customer, because you know what? It happened that my smallest customers became my biggest customers, and my biggest customers became my smallest customers over a period of years, because you just don't know what's going to change in the market. And if you're nasty to those people who are coming up,
they'll remember.
They're not going to be there for you when they actually make it. You know?
That is such good advice, and I think that is a great note, Carly, to end on.
Oh, I was going to ask one more question.
Okay, one more.
So sorry, Sherry. I don't want to bore you.
She always tries to wrap me up, Clayton, all the time.
She's like, God, I need to get off this. I've had enough.
No.
Because Sherry is restricting me to one more question. I'm gonna be selfish for our retailers, and I'm going to say, like, in their next meeting with their distributor, if they could only ask one question of their distributor, what do you say that should be?
Oh man, that's putting me on the spot.
That's what I do.
I would say, when you talk to your distributor, and if you're sitting down and you're friendly with them, try and say, I would always try and say, like, talk about what innovation's coming through, what great new products. And I always used to like to angle myself, and this is again a selfish thing, but as like I'm happy to be your guinea pig. I'd love to see what's news coming through. Just try and make yourself sound like you're the guy to go to if they've got a new idea and there's something great out there. And just really put it out and say, like, butter them up a little bit. Just be a bit like, I love you guys. You get some great products coming through. And look, if there's anything new coming out, I'm always open for it. And I would love to be, work more closely with you on, like, getting new stuff to market. I know it's not a question, it's more of a statement, but I think
it's
that
a good
would
one.
be.
No, that's a great knowledge nugget. Yes.
Yeah, I think, like, everyone loves a bit of buttering up, like, as we say over here. So it's, I think just trying to keep yourself on the forefront of what's happening all the time is so important, because the world changes quickly. And if you can see what's happening before everyone else, it just gives you that competitive advantage.
Yep.
And distributors see a lot. And do you know what? They don't want to have to hard sell into every shop. So it's sort of like, if you're that guy who's saying, I'd love to be your guy who tests your products and sees what news coming through, that's great for you, because your customers are getting to see something new all the time. They're getting to see different products coming out as they're hitting the market. And look, some of it's going to be garbage, but hey, you're going to get some great stuff before anyone else.
That's right.
And it's about, you've got to keep your customers interested all the time in what's going on, and saying, look, this has just come out. No one's got this yet. Wow, look at this. So working with a distributor, sit down with them and say, give them a buttering up. Say, I love you guys. I want to be the good person on the forefront, and I'll test sell anything for you.
That's a good one.
Awesome.
That's a good one.
No, that's really good. Okay. Where can our listeners find you, and where can they listen to your podcast, the Pet Business Disruptors podcast?
So they can usually find me outside of any pet event smoking cigarettes in the... So I'm normally there. I normally stop for 2 before I go back in, because half an hour.
So that's how you and Carly met.
No, we met inside. We met inside.
So if they want to, like, listen to me, I'm on Pet Business Disruptors. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Castbox. It's on Podcast Republic. All the usual podcast apps. They want to connect with me, like, talk to me. I'm very responsive on LinkedIn. I'm horribly responsive on nearly every other medium, because I'm so busy.
I can confirm because I connected with Clayton on LinkedIn after Vegas, and it was Johnny on the spot. Then I emailed and it was like, hello.
I always say to people, if you want me, and, like, look, I'm very open. Like, I'm the sort of person, if you did connect with me on LinkedIn and say, like, I'd love to have a chat with you for 20 minutes, I'll give anyone my time. Because if I can help push everyone forward and make everyone successful, I'm very much into that. So
that's awesome. Well,
so are we.
Yes, and we appreciate you taking some of your busy day to spend with us, Clayton. So I think there were a lot of good tips in here for not just our retailers, but also our brands and our manufacturers. We're touching all the points of the industry today, and our distributors. There was tips in there for distributors as well.
It's like the circle of life up in here.
Oh my God, I just saw a vision of the Lion King. Oh, yes. Okay. And if I could sing, I'd be singing it right now. But anyways. All right. Well, Pet Pro, that's it for this week. So until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Pet Pro, that's it for this week.
Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe.
Just hit all the buttons.
And if you want more, join us in the Indie Insider, our private Facebook group for pet pros.
Then you'll never miss the podcast that makes you sit, stay, and beg for more. The Pet Shop Girls.
Pet Shop Girls.
Pet Pros, if you've ever dreamed of having your own branded line of chews, now's the time.
For real, I've got my own line, and it's all thanks to Aardvark Pet Products. They make it so easy with their private label program built just for indie stores. And I love being able to design my own labels.
Okay, but if you're not a design freak like Miss Sherry, you don't have to design your own labels because they'll do it all for you. And with their low minimums, no sneaky fees, getting your logo on chews you can actually be proud of has never been easier.
Exactly. And trust me, it makes a difference. Better margins, stronger brand presence, and your customers love supporting local.
Right. So head to aardvarkpet.com and check out everything they have because indie retailers deserve big brand power without the big brand nonsense.
That's ARTVARK pet.com. And if you want a $600 design pack for free and to avoid those pesky setup fees, plus get 10% off your first order, be sure to mention the Pet Shop Girls sent you. Challenge, y'all. Role play a sales conversation